Hello, I want to talk about a book that I use often. I refer to it often in my coaching practice, and I usually do so like with my nose held. I think this is a little bit of a distasteful book, but I think it's an important book for career success for some ambitious people to know about. Jeffrey Pfeffer, the author, was at Stanford Business School for many years. He may be emeritus now, but he had a pretty famous class called Pathways to Power, and he's got some other textbooks about power in organizations and managing with power. But the fundamentals, this is more of a public audience, airport business book, and it's light and quick to read. The fundamental thesis is that, there is the skill of doing your professional practice, right? What you have to do to be good at the thing. And then there is a separate and sort of detachable skill set, which is about getting good and rising within an organization. And that to believe that sort of if you build it, they will come, that being skillful at your professional practice is enough to be recognized and elevated is naive, and that people who wish to attain influence and power in organizations need to study some of the tools of power, which are distinct from the fundamental tools of doing the jobs at lower levels. And so this is a book about influence, alliance building, visibility, overcoming opposition, right? It's about the tools of organizational power. And, I think this is problematic. I have found it problematic myself, and I'm not particularly skillful at those kind of organizational dynamics. My brain doesn't work that way, and yet I think he's right. I think that anyone with eyes to see and ears to hear knows that it takes more than being substantively good at something to be promoted up high within an organization. So there are a few takeaways that I think are worth noting and I talk about with clients quite often. One is that being in a position to control communication and is a powerful position to be in and can have a positive impact. So think about your communication, who you are helpful to, and how you use communication to increase visibility. I think that's a path available for many ambitious, good people that it doesn't feel distasteful to take. Another is that helping others, right? Like I like to help others. We help people because we're good people and we're boosters, but there are more Machiavellian reasons for helping others, which are to position yourself in a place where people feel reciprocity, where they feel like they owe you a favor, where they trust you and invite you in the room. And you can do that by helping others and looking for opportunities to do that. That's borne out by another fantastic book called Influence by Robert Cialdini. This is a book that's referenced everywhere. These are kind of a good pair to read together. And then I think the third piece that I recognize often and I think, is worth noting and just taking seriously is that flattery makes people like us, right? And the author Pfeffer cites a study, an unpublished academic study about flattery, right? The way you would think it would work is a little bit of flattery is good. We think, oh, how perceptive, and oh, they're so great, and then if somebody really lays it on thick, we think they're kind of laying it on thick. This person's kind of a suck up. We stop believing in them, and maybe we like them a little less because their credibility gets eroded because they're really flattering too much. And that actually in the studies was never borne out. We can see through them. We say, this is a person who's really a brown noser, but we still like them more. I don't suggest that anyone become a shallow flatterer, but what I do say is when you can genuinely help others and when you can sincerely compliment people at your work, you should do so, not only because it is good karma, but because it builds your influence, it builds reciprocity, it creates trust, it builds alliances, and those things are both good for us as humans, and they have political influential organizational dynamic payoffs for the ambitious among us. Check it out. I don't love this book. I don't love the messages in them, but I think they're important, and I would love to hear what you think.